Welcome to the LanceScurv show. I'm here. You're here. What time is it? Eastern Standard Time is like 2:58 in the morning, so this is one of those late night conversations. And we met in a very interesting way, although it's not uncommon for me because on the internet and putting your number out there, you do meet people. But one thing I have to say, your enthusiasm and, you being so bubbly and energetic was refreshing. And I could sense that you're very pure. I mean, nobody's perfect, but I could sense that. You don't come with any agendas. And I find online that it's chock full of a lot of folks with some secret hidden agenda. I'm not paranoid that way, but in my position, you get a lot of people coming at you for different reasons, all kind of crazy reasons. So I thank you for that.
Oh, well, thank you for recognizing that. I just happened to call and met a great guy, and I just enjoy your conversation and your personality also.
Wow. My head is already big. Now I'm not going to be able to fit into my hats anymore.
I'm sorry. I'm not trying to blow you
No,
up.
I'm just playing with you. I'm just playing with you.
It's refreshing for me, too. Finding people of good character and ethics and morals these days is like finding a needle in a haystack, and we're all getting used to that.
But isn't it sad, though, that that's the way it is? I mean, it used to be, I don't know, maybe it's me or maybe it's just, I don't know, but it just seemed like quality people were more in abundance back in the day. Back in the day for me at 53 years old might be a little different for you, but back in the day it just seemed as though there were more quality people. It was odd to find people who were so outwardly venomous and the whole way we're so separate from each other. And I mean, nobody was perfect back in the day. I'm not saying that like it was some utopia or anything like that, but I mean, it's just rare to find someone who has a positive light. We've all caught so many scars, emotional scars, mental scars, and of course there are physical scars. But, there's nothing happening now that hasn't happened before. It just seems to be happening more and more intensely. But we sort of lost each other. Look how we're talking, and we spoke earlier, but really this is like within 24 hours we met each other, and we're talking like we know each other because we have a sense of decency, a sense of where you go and where you don't go. With me, you can go anywhere. I'm unshockable that way. I'm doing what I do. But, you just can't meet decent people as fast and get a good vibe from them. What do you think about that?
Oh, I experience it all the time because I'm not going to go into too much detail, but I'm an Army brat. Mm-hmm. So I grew up my formative years were spent in Germany. I grew up in Europe. Mm-hmm. And so I'm different. I'm kind of out the box. And like you said, a lot of people can sense that a little bit of naivete and that, a little bit, I didn't grow up, in places where it was so rough and dangerous, or just where people were more hardened. So people see that in me, and it just seems like some people are repelled by it, and I'm not used to that. Like how you and I connected so quickly when I was growing up, that happened to me every day, all day. I would just meet people, and we would connect, and we'd just be like, fast friends. But it's like these days, being hardened and cruel and, sly is upheld instead of excellence and kindness and purity. Those things are not upheld anymore. So that's why our culture has deteriorated to the point to where you can't trust anybody, and it's very difficult to live that way.
And even in relationships of all kind, whether it's the relationship with the mailman, a relationship with a teacher, your neighbor, or your relationship romantically, it's almost like, well, I'm in this, but I have to save 25% just in case. I'm not going to go all the way in. I'm not going to open all the way up because you never know what can happen. Well, you're kind of making a gory future happen when you think that way, when you go into something. So even me doing this, anything I do, I go hard. I just don't know any other way. If it's a relationship, I'm going to go hard. If it's even in the past, when I say doing something bad, I've never done crime or drugs or anything like that. But just even like little boyhood mischievous things, I'm going to go all the way. You know what I mean? I remember going in the backyard and switching the neighbor's laundry with another neighbor that was on the line. That's like the most criminal stuff I've done. You know,
Oh, wow.
so and waiting in the window to see when they come to get it, and then they have the next neighbor's panties hanging on the line. That was like so funny to me. You know, but I mean, now these days it's like it's a lonely. For me, it's a lonely walk. Is
Mhm.
I know a lot of good people. Don't get me wrong. So I wouldn't diss them and say that. But overall, thank God for the volume of good people that I know, because it's satisfying that void in my heart, because back in the day there was always an overabundance, you know? It's like this. When you have a pocket full of money, you feel on top of the world. You look at everything, and not to say that you're just a consumer, but I can buy that if I want to. I got money. I got money. When you don't have the money, every single quarter that you left in the ashtray of the car, or fell between the cushions on the couch, or rolled up under the bed, you remember. And you remember those days when you had that money, like, wow, it's a whole different existence now, because I don't have now what I used to have. And that love in the world, that togetherness, that unity, that thread of culture that held us all together. Look at the music, right? I mean, the music is like a battle mode on each other. You know, before it was all about love and togetherness and please don't break my heart, please don't hurt me. You had
Right.
guys singing songs like don't hurt me, don't break my heart. Now it's so hardcore sexual and distant. Can you handle this? I'm gonna rock your world. I'm gonna break your back. What are you? What is this, WWF or something like that? What
Right.
happened to being tender and open and caring and loving and the love songs that weren't so lewd. They were just beautiful. I mean, you'd want to hold hands, and as a man, you want to look into the young lady's face and take a romantic walk. You weren't thinking about something decadent. Let me check out what she can do in the bedroom so quick. That was the last thing on your mind. That really, you know, at a certain age, 14, 15, 16, you weren't even thinking that way. You know what I mean? Even though in my past, I've had experiences a little younger than most, but still, you still had that feeling of butterflies. Oh, there's the girl that I like. Oh my God. You know, she looked at me.
Yeah.
And they're missing out on so much today. You know, they miss.
Exactly. Yeah, those love songs are, the soundtrack of our lives. You know,
Yes.
all of that beauty and all of that. Now, this violence and this, hedonism or debauchery that you hear in the music now, that's the soundtrack of our young people's lives. That's what they, so that's why they conduct themselves in that way. They don't hear the things that we about love and friendship and holding each other's hands and kissing, romancing each other.
Yeah.
So I saw in the last couple of months, like people were getting mad at like Justin Timberlake for like cultural appropriation or whatever. But you have to look at the type of quality of music that Justin Timberlake does. He
Right.
doesn't, do all that cursing and all that sexual. He still talks about romance and chivalry, and so that's what women like. So if you go back to that, then you would be on the same level as him. And so. Yeah, I really miss that. I listen to classical and even country and rock now because it's like I'm not going to expose myself to that type of music.
Exactly.
It's just not.
Well, the culture is hijacked anyway. I mean, we can go deep into that, and folks will say, "Oh, don't go off on a whole conspiracy theory tangent," but it's the truth. And the sad part about it is that we're not reclaiming our culture back and saying, you know what, we don't want to hear that stuff. We let we as adults can hear it and filter it out, but the kids can't, and it becomes a situation where it's life imitating art. You see, they throw this stuff out there and we emulate that, the younger kids. And the sad part about it, the older folks too, they're starting to get with that. It's permeated so deep that everybody's following behind whatever's put out there instead of us being the creator of what we want and enjoying it. Now it's tainted our minds. And to me, we're the only people now, yes, it's spilled over to other races, yes. But we're the ones who seem to be affected by it the most. We don't control the drum beat anymore. So therefore, we march a different way according to what somebody else is doing, hitting that drum.
Exactly. And music is very, very powerful.
Yes.
When we used to go out to the club, when you hear music that is violent, you get crunk and excited and, geared up for some violence. And then when you hear the romantic music, you want to hug and rub up with somebody. So people cannot say that it's just music. It affects your emotions and the atmosphere. So, and it's just, it's out there, but it's just people have to keep on talking about it and understand that we have control over that. We can boycott, or in the artist, they can say, hey, I'm not doing this anymore. This is hurting my people. This is not the type of image that I'd like to have. And like I said earlier, support excellence. When there are people who are making romantic music and music that children and people of all ages can listen to, support that person, uphold it, then the culture will follow. But if you just support every piece of trashy music that's out there, then that's how they get paid and how they get big, and that affects our culture.
But how low can it go? I mean, really, how low can it go? It seems like the more decadent it is, the more it will sell. But how low can it go? And then when these youngsters and I'm not just picking on the youngsters, I'm just using this as an example because they haven't lived life yet, right? And they get into all of this stuff and get exposed to so much. And it may sound corny to me because back in my day, we didn't have access to all of the stuff that they do now. And I hate to have to say it, but, the online porn that's so accessible. I hear kids talking about things, what they do in the bedroom. And I'm like, wait a second, that's a 14-year-old. We didn't have access to stuff like that. And it kept our childhoods going on a lot longer because there was an innocence there. And my thing is that no matter how old you are, what your chronological age is, if you can maintain an innocence, and yes, you can have 20 kids. It's not just about sex, but you can still maintain an innocence and a wonderment for the world. Because when you realize how minuscule we are compared to this little speck of dust that's called planet Earth, and there's so much to learn, there's so much to do, and so little time. I mean, yes, we have a lifetime that can really feel like a long time if we do the right thing, but it's so much to enjoy. I'm seeing all of this mean mugging. I go on YouTube and you have people grown people now, sitting up mad at the next person and wasting that kind. Do you know if you're going to be alive tomorrow? Are you living in balance? People have so much in their lives to have to correct and get better with. There's not enough time to sit here. And people pick on me online and try to goad me into this back and forth stuff. But my life is so full. You know what I mean? It's not just YouTube. It's not just, this is what I've gotten into doing because I'm passionate about it. But believe you me, I'm cutting grass. I'm going to the farmer's market. We're here cooking good food. I'm learning stuff. I have conversations that are not recorded. There are places that I go. There's just so much to put in your mind. And we limit ourselves.
Right. Yes, a lot of teenagers, like I'm terrified to be around them because, like you said, the mean mugging and when you try to discuss this music with them and the culture with them, they defend it.
They don't want to hear it
to the point of violence, and it's just like you're missing out on life. There's more than this music. There's more than twerking. There's more than this television. There's like animals out there. There's planets. There's trees. There's medicine. There's all types of things out there that you know nothing about. And once you would step out and like get a book and try some of these other things, believe me, they're lying to you. Your mind is going to be blown once you open it up to different things. But it's just, you try to knock, but they're not open to understanding that there's more to life than this that you keep on getting fed every day by the media or wherever it's coming from, that there is more to life than just that music and that lifestyle. That it's beautiful. Like the world can be beautiful no matter what type of struggles, where you live, in the hood, you don't have money, whatever. There is still a lot to enjoy. But if you just live in there being angry and reiterating what you hear and all the hard times that you've been through, you're just going to be miserable and not enjoy the better things in life that everybody else around you is enjoying that you're complaining about. Give it a try. Try something different.
That's right. But our minds are locked in, and that's the problem. Driving the bus here in Orlando, Florida, and I guess it would be in any city, you have places where they say, oh, that's the hood, or that's the good neighborhood, or that, people label places and whatnot. But in my mind, and I've always said it before, God didn't make any hoods. God didn't make any bad neighborhoods. The rain rains where it rains. The sun shines where it shines. It doesn't say, well, we can't shine on that part because that's the hood, and they got to pay a little more money to get some sunshine. We make it what it is. And if we
Right.
believe that, how many times have you seen a gentrified neighborhood that it's so nice now, but before, when it was a black neighborhood, it was run down, right? It's the mentality. It's not because the people were black that it was run down. It's the mentality. And you have someone else who comes in and says, you know what, this can be this, and we can build it this way. Why couldn't the people who were there before do the same thing? And I'm saying it to say this. It's nice to see people strive to learn and to get better and to improve themselves, right? But it hurts me when I see the place that people call the hood with the physical boundaries. Once you cross that street, it's kind of dangerous over there, and for the folks who may live there who believe that kind of hurts me, because I see every day different students from all over the world fly from all over the world, Korea, Brazil, Czechoslovakia, Russia, all different places all over the world, different countries in Africa, come here as exchange students. They come here as students. They work their way through college, and they're extracting righteously what this place has to offer, what little or what left America has to offer. But yet and still, you have some of our brothers and sisters who may live in this place called the hood, and they don't even see it. And I'm just using an example. We have a neighborhood over here called, and I'm just using this as an example, Carver Shores, Washington Shores, Orange Center, Tangelo Park, Pine Hills, black neighborhoods. I live in Pine Hills. The side I live on is considered really nice. There's another side that has a bad reputation, but they knocked the whole place because it's black, right? But Carver Shores is right next to Valencia College. And I see people from Carver Shores, my own black brothers and sisters, riding the bus as it passes through Valencia College. And when it's time for the passengers to get off, it seems like it's everybody else who came to the country. And they're, good afternoon, bus driver. Good evening. How are you? And our own people don't have a clue as to what is going on. Now, I'm not saying that you have to go to college, because, that can be a ripoff too. There are a lot of people out here who have lots of degrees, great degrees, and they have to go back and do something that pays less, that is below them as far as their area of expertise. I understand that. But at least have the mindset. You have YouTube. You have Google. Teach yourself something. Like this weekend, I'm going to look more into bricklaying and laying the cinder blocks and doing things I want to learn. I know it already a bit, but I want to learn the finer techniques. While we have this means of learning, look, back in the day, it used to be where you got that knock on the door and it was some dude with a shirt and a tie selling encyclopedias. And you had to call your parents, and they had to put out big money to buy these encyclopedias so you can have at home to study from instead of going to the library. But guess what? It was never up to date. You buy that set of encyclopedias and someone who's alive, born in 1927, and there's a dash, right? Well, they're alive. Well, you buy the encyclopedias, that's what they die the next day. Your encyclopedias are out of date. Google is up to date to the second. Cyberspace, the internet. Yet we're more stupid than we ever been before. I hate to use such a strong word like stupid, but stupid is a choice. Mm-hmm. Stupid is a choice. Stupid is a choice. If you're stupid, you chose to be that way because there's no excuse. Sorry to hog the mic like that. I know you want to say something.
No. For me, I don't have a lot of money. I'm not very ambitious. I wasn't raised here, and I wasn't raised in New York. I know New Yorkers are hustlers. You guys know how to make money. I admire it, but I just don't have that quality in me. So it's not about money.
Yes, you do.
And I see that's not for you also.
No. It's about, you have that quality. Trust me. I can hear it in your voice. I dub you an honorary New Yorker. Trust me. But go ahead.
For me, it's about the misery, the absolute misery that people are living in. It's okay to be poor, but that doesn't mean that you have to be violent and mean and struggle. There are a lot of other poor places like Some people, the stereotype, what do you call it, trailer park or whatever, and the violence is not as intense and, so profound as it is. And it's just like, so I don't know what is necessary to uplift people from the misery, if it's education or just exposure to a different lifestyle. So that's what I just want to see, our people being happy and speaking to each other again and being and just our excellent people who are excellent and who are the pinnacles of our community being upheld, so that our young people can look to them and try to emulate them instead of all the negative stuff, like all the rappers and all. That's not. We don't all need to aspire to that type of lifestyle.
Yes.
It's okay not to be rich, but to have some goal and to enjoy life is what life is about. Not to just wallow in misery and struggle every day with people who are surrounding you. That's what bothers me. It just seems like it's just so much misery around our people.
Yes, yes, and it's like a controlled demolition. It didn't happen overnight, and I believe this, that it happened by design.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like breaking down something. It's like, we don't need you anymore, so let's break you down and let you diminish. Kill each other off. And economics does play a big role in it, because right, we're not saying you have to be overwhelmingly rich, but if there's no money flowing, it's hard to be happy. It's like air. Air is very important to life. Doesn't mean we have to breathe up all of the air. But also, like the esteem. If all you had was 2 dresses, you keep those dresses clean. You keep them smelling fresh. And you stand tall while you wear that dress. And it's something more than the dress being clean that makes the dress look good. It's how you carry yourself, you see? And I find that in the Black community, even from what I can remember, whatever you had, you keep it. You keep it nice. If you have just a 1-room shack, you keep it swept. You keep it clean. If you don't have all the food, gourmet food in the world, whatever you cook it with love. You see? You greet your neighbor. You treat them like the kings and queens that they are, even when they don't even know it. You put that kind of esteem inside your children. And, it's funny, because children, when they're much younger, they don't realize, say if you're broke, let's just say broke, where you don't have a lot of money, you're struggling, financially, right? Bottom line, what is this making noise over here? My other phone? I got this gadgetry just jumping all over the place and making little RoboCop noises. Zoop, 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 zoop. But yeah, kids don't know that they're broke, because the money is not as important to them. And that's the perfect time to instill those qualities in them. And I find that many people who didn't have a lot growing up, that when they did work hard and achieve a little something more, they appreciated it more. These days, it seems like things come too fast. I don't know. We want it fast. We think it one minute, we see somebody else with it, and we want it. But most of the time, it's material items. But we're empty on the inside. Well, when I see a person who has character, that's what I want.
Right.
When I see a person who understands the beauty in the art of conversation, that's what I want. Conversation. I mean, there's some old dudes that I knew down through the years that were retired a long time ago. And even to come outside to go to the store, they made a whole day out of it because they really had nothing else to do. I know some guys way back when I was in single-digit ages, I would say these guys were in their 80s, and this is up in Harlem and Washington Heights, New York. My father had a shop in Washington Heights where I was first born before they moved out to Queens. And when we moved out to Queens, New York, he still had the shop there. So it's like I grew up in Harlem and Washington Heights because I spent a lot of my summers and afternoons there whenever I was free from school going to work with him. My parents were together, but he had to go out there to get his machinery. So I used to get my hair cut out there and just kind of hang with my father. And I used to see these guys that would walk up dressed to a T. Now imagine if this was like 1973 or something and I'm 10 years old and these dudes were 80 years old, right? They weren't even born in that century. They were born in the late 1800s. So the clothes that they had from when they were 20 years old and 30 years old were from the teens and the 20s. We're talking about from before the Great Depression. So I can close my eyes and remember these guys' faces. Can't remember their names, but their faces and the things that they said and the style. I mean, the detail, they were clean. And I remember them saying that a man is supposed to step outside and he's supposed to represent. And here I am at 53 years old in 2016, looking at guys who are sagging their pants, don't even wash. Some of these young guys, they don't wash. They might wash once every week, a week and a half. I swear, I'm telling you the truth. Some of these young men get on my bus. We're not talking about I worked all day and I was sweaty and it dried up and I kind of got a little odor on me, because that's still a fresh odor. It just smells like sweat. But when it's straight funk, you know, brother, you didn't hit that body for the last week. Men know that. There's no excuse. And in contrast, to look back at how these older men took their time to get ready, had that old brush where they shaved. Here they're shaving before they go down to the market, because when they go down to the market, they're going to see all the neighbors and greet them and stand there for 10 or 15 minutes with each one and talk. And that's their day, you see? And the belts, the shoes, the pants, the outfits. I'm like, what kind of wardrobe do these guys have? Look at them nice clothes. A man is supposed to look like a man.
I can't believe you just said that. I can't believe. I've been thinking about that, about how my father used to dress when we were in Germany, and with his alligator shoes and the tan piece and the nice sweater, the Kangol hat, and then some aftershave, and just how men used to always just smell that smell. It wasn't even any. I was a young girl, nothing sexual, but just the smell of men smelling and looking like that. There's something amazing about that, and especially now because it's so rare. They don't know the power that they would have just in putting themselves together and walking, standing straight up as a man, sparing those shoulders. People would probably bow down in this day and age. After, I mean, I'm serious, but I thought about that just the other day. I'm just like, what happened to that dress? To that smell of that aftershave and them shoes all shined up and, just looking good, and you don't even have to say anything. All you have to do is walk out as a man looking like that.
Right.
People recognize.
Right. And I mean, I look, I'm a straight man, but I noticed, and I'm down here in Orlando, Florida. It's a little warmer. There's an older gentleman. He got on my other bus line, and he's going to get me. We're going to do a few things together. But he gets on, he's got his hat on, got his suit on, and he smells like, it's like, wait a second. I had to ask him, I said, man, you're not from here, are you? He said, no, I'm from New York. I'm like, see, I knew it. I'm not just saying that you have to be from New York to keep yourself that way. It's just that he came from a different place in a different era. And he's one of those guys that I would see. Not him per se. I'm quite sure we cross paths, but, that style. And I find it funny that if you told me 30 years ago that you'd have more men running around wearing mascara, walking with a little switch in their hip, limp wrist, I'm not throwing off on nobody. I'm just telling it like it is. See, I wouldn't believe you. But now that man model that we just spoke about, that mode of being, manhood, that's out of style.
Out of style.
That's as far as what they push. Anymore. As far as what they push. But we need to, like I said, I take pride. Now, I wear a uniform when I go to work, but I'm shaved every day. I'm smelling good every day. I'm so clean that when I come back from a whole 10 and a half hours of driving that bus, I'm still clean. All right? I'm still clean. And I'm in the street all day long. So there's no excuse. But when I do dress, watch out. Watch out.
Yeah, that's right.
We're going to make sure, I'm not playing. And it's not to get attention, but I enjoy who I am and I love who I am. And when people see examples of that, it's like, wow, who is that? But now
Right.
everybody's a scruff muffin now, musty pants. I saw a guy wearing his pants sagging down, showing his underwear, and wouldn't you believe there was a big streak in the underwear. I didn't look
Oh,
at the man so hard like that, but it was brought to my attention. I looked, I said, how does this guy not know? Is this supposed to be cool?
why would anybody want to do that? That's just the question that we just need to get them all lined up and just go maybe show some pictures, have that picture of that, and just go why and go no excuses, no we gonna go and break this down and find out why are you doing this? Why are you inhibiting your walking in that way? What is your purpose? What do you think you're gaining? By looking at the environment, if you're not getting the quality women that you would like because of your dress, and this is lowering every standard. Why are you doing that? That's what we need. Is that nobody asked that question, why? And then when you get an answer, maybe we can break it down and try to figure out and try to switch that around. But we just watch it. We just watch the stupidity. Like, man, do you know that you have a streak on your pants and on your undies, and the people see you and you still think you look good? You still got swag, sir? No, So we need to start asking a lot more whys about this behavior, and then maybe we can break it down and get people to stop, because I've never understood why,
You're not lying. Trust me. It's to me, I've come to this conclusion, and those who will listen to this in the future, correct me if I'm wrong, but right now, I just think it's mass mental sickness. I just think it's mass mental sickness. Even if it's not mass mental sickness, it's got to be a combination. The whole mental aspect, the spiritual voids, and we just lost our way. And it's sad to say I'm not a doomsayer, but all of us are not going to make it. All of us are not going to make it. And the best we can do for some, you want to help everybody, but the best thing is to be an example. And those who get the light inside of them to wake up and say, hey, I want to be like him or her. Even if we're not perfect, but let's strive for something better and show the example and shine bright in our community. Why push the decadence? It's just going to look, that decadence that another person may think is mild. That could be the straw that breaks the camel's back and makes somebody just go on and kill somebody, because you're killing yourself. God didn't make any thugs. God didn't make any criminals. God didn't make any whores or prostitutes or thoughts, right? We did that to ourselves, right? We allowed it to happen. And other cultures, they don't allow it to happen, or as much. There's always that wayward one. But en masse, it's so bad with us as black people that...
Because we embrace it. Because the rest of the culture, they shun and ostracize those who behave in that way. We embrace it. We march. We cry. We uphold. We coddle those who do wrong. It's just like most people would not. They turn their back on you and crap. You don't exist anymore. That is the path that you chose, and these are the consequences. And leave that person to their consequences. But we won't do that. We don't understand that behaviors lead to a certain consequence, and every man, woman, child, they just have to take that consequence without somebody alleviating it for them, and then that's how you create a man.
That's right.
You let him take the consequences of his behavior. That's
right.
how he learns. But if there's no consequence, then he cannot learn to stand up on his own feet, and then you have the situation that we have here.
That's right. That's right. Isn't it sad that you can have a young man come back from college, after earning his degree, and nobody pays him any mind, for the most part, in general. But you can have another young man come out from doing a 6 or 7 year bid, whatever it may be, and he gets a cookout, a barbecue. The whole neighborhood is welcoming him, like he did something or accomplished something. I'm not saying you have to turn your back on your brother because he made a poor choice. But why are you rewarding this? And yes, you're glad to see your loved one and stuff like that. Yeah, but there's more fanfare for that than there is for someone who's accomplishing something worthwhile. Right. That took some hard work. That took some focus. That took some discipline. That's screwed up right there.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
mortgage your house to get your son out of prison instead of mortgaging your house to get your daughter or your other son to go to college. Yeah.
exactly.
Let people take the consequences for their behavior. And just like you said, you don't have to turn your back on them, but say, "Oh, this is what happened. This is what happened from that. You robbed, you gang. This is what happened." And we'll see you when you get out.
That's right.
Good luck.
That's right.
I still love you. Give me a call every now and again. And that's the way it needs to go.
Wow.
So.
Wow. Interesting. You brought the energy this morning. Come on, you about to say something else?
Me?
Yeah, I cut you off, didn't I?
No, you didn't.
Well, Nita, I'm going to wrap this down. This put me in the right mindset, online, and a lot of people don't realize it, but and many people who do stuff on YouTube and do these shows and blah, 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 on this level, not that I'm above anybody, right? But the amount of work. I get a lot coming at me on a negative level. I get a lot coming at me on a positive level. And the positive outweighs the negative. But the negative that does come, it's a bit much. And I have to say that you're very refreshing. Very, very refreshing. Your outlook, the way you speak, the way you feel. Because we can feel, even though it's an electronic medium between us and there's hundreds of miles between us, we're still very spiritual. We're spiritual creatures. And we have that Holy Spirit, third eye, whatever you want to call it, that sixth sense. And it's nice to feel the vibes that you're throwing my way. And I have to give credit where credit is due.
Same here.
Awesome. Well, we have some shows planned all weekend. Like I said, we have that show about Eddie Long planned for Friday. I believe it's going to be 8 o'clock, but I may push it back to 9 because I have something that I have to do earlier. But you'll see it. We're going to post it up. And, of course, 11 o'clock Monday through Friday, always, which the time that it is now and the amount of work that I have to do, I might push it back to 12.
Okay.
I'm a force of nature and a dynamo, but, sometimes I front with that and say, you know what, this dynamo has to get an extra hour of sleep.
Now, you said that Eddie Long on Friday. Is that going to be 9 a.m. or 9 p.m.?
Oh, no, it's going to be p.m.
Okay.
I agreed and said 8, but I'm going to try to push it back to 9. But I'm going to personally let you know. And it's going to be an open discussion. But first, I'm going to give him the floor. He wants to, bring a different perspective on that whole situation, the whole life of Eddie Long. Because, it's fascinating because things happen to people. But it's like, it's obvious that this man is in denial. And I've gotten chewed out for even talking about it. Oh, you're immature and oh, you're wrong for this and so and so. He is a public figure. He has influenced many people, right? Aside from him being a pastor, he has a lot of influence. There's a lot of blood on his hands, I do believe, because he can lead people the wrong way, and you're going to break people's hearts. I mean, you're calling yourself a man of God, right? Whatever that may be, we all represent the Creator. The Creator made all of us. There's nobody above. You have doctors that can help you heal. Well, if you have a pastor, well, he studies a little bit more. He should be able to lead by example and give you a good word. But when you lead people, right, and you fall, you disappoint them. And if you really are the middleman of God, in which there is nothing like that in my book, but if you're representing him, there are people who are going to get turned off to that walk because of what you did. And if you are dipping and dabbing, step down. Make it right. Tell the world what you've been doing to a point, and then come back when you're ready, especially if you're gifted and charismatic enough to pull people and get the butts in the seats to want to study God's word. You know what I mean? If you can't live it, don't do it. How am I going to say that, yes, I do videos, I do stuff on this, I do that, and you go and see 2 little cheesy shows for, 15 minutes that I did 3 years ago. You're like, he's not really about it. When you find me and you find what I do, I can say this is what I do with confidence because I've been doing the daggone thing. Look what time it is, and I'm loving it. Yeah. Well, when you called me earlier, I was on a break. Thank God it was perfect timing. What did I do? Hello? I
I
picked up,
know.
right?
Yeah.
You probably
Yeah.
were shocked. I said, what? This must be an
It
answering
was. I was
machine.
like, maybe he'll get back to me. I was planning on leaving a message.
Nah, I'm about this. You know how the little guys in the street, they had a little saying, I'm about that life. I'm about that life. Well, doing this stuff, sincerely, I'm about that life. And I mean that in a good way. I'm not glorifying anything bad.
May I ask you a question? I know
Anything.
you're trying to get some rest.
No. We can talk a little bit more. Hit me. I love the whole question thing because I have this little secret thing, like whatever you ask me, I can talk about. So go ahead.
Where does the negativity directly at you come from? What is people's beef?
Well, people throw the negativity. They don't usually do it publicly. They'll do it through emails. They'll do it through the text messages, or they'll approach other people and try to turn people against you. You know, it's weird because this has happened. I can tell you so many stories because everything always gets back to me. You know what I mean? I don't know what many people really want online. Not all, but many. You know, it's anybody can get a platform, right? Anybody can sign up and get a YouTube account and live stream and sit in front of the camera and feel important or feel that what they're saying is important. I'm just a regular guy, so I'm not even trying to say that I'm this authority. I'm just a regular guy that folks kind of like, you know, with what I do, my personality, or whatever. I guess that's what it is. It's always been like that, even in real life. But I'm not over anybody else. Everybody has their own unique personality, but we have so many people who have issues that have been left unattended, and social media is the place to become that person that they never became. See? And you have preachers or frustrated people who wanted to be preachers. You know, they'll get drunk and get on here and they're a preacher. You know, you have people who have unresolved issues in their life from childhood, and they will target people and rant against them because of how jacked up their life is. And I'm not judging and saying their life is jacked up. It is what it is. But this is destroying even the whole possibility of people healing, because this thing, social media, is like a drug. It's like crack. It's worse than crack. You can change your profile photo and look at it and put it through Photoshop before you put it up to make it look perfect. You put up a video and say, oh, I got 5 more hits. Somebody saw me. Oh, how sad. It's a nice feeling on one respect, but it shows you in the Bible when they said we'll be lovers of ourselves and all of this. Wow, I'm looking around and this is what I'm seeing.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to have good self-esteem. I think very highly of myself in a healthy way, but not beyond. I don't think, look, if I decided not to go to work, that same bus at that same time is going to move without me. Life has happened before me. It's going on now while I'm here. And the time that I'm gone, the sun is still going to shine. People are going to laugh. The most humbling thing is to say to yourself, you know what? The day I die or transition, somewhere in the world, there'll be a party. And they won't even be thinking about me. You know what I mean? So that keeps me grounded, you know? And as much money as anybody has, the day they die, the day they transition, there'll be a bill coming in the mail or electronically for them. So you're never going to pay up all your bills. Why are you stressing? Well, first of all, I'm trying to live off the grid anyway. So I'm trying to get away from bills. I want solar power. I want to catch my own rainwater. I want to get a big piece of land and build on that in a very special, unique way, and grow my own vegetables, grow my own fruits. We do that now, but I mean really where you can eat for months off of it. And by the time you finish that, it grows up again. I just want to be free.
Oh man! Well, that is my dream life.
Are you
That's
serious?
That I am serious. That's what I'm saying. Maybe he was meant to adopt me or something. Cause, yeah, like I'll be willing to go with you. That is my dream life to live up. But I don't know if you're able to anymore. Like if all the land is owned.
Yes. Oh no. Yes. No. Yes. It's. I've been talking to people. I've been learning. And in actuality, I have very much a concrete plan to doing so. Now, I'm not trying to be Jim Jones now. Let's all go off and, start some cult and whatever. You realize it's a nightmare. No, but hey, that is something that really can work, because many people that I've shared certain ideas with, they're like, that sounds fabulous, because it's all about the collective, right? And we don't need, hospitals. Yeah, you'll do something near a hospital. You fall, you bust your head. You want to get to the hospital, right? But in a practical way, to me, I am like so totally freaked out now when I think of life in a big city. Now, Orlando, to me, coming from New York City, is not a put down, but it's like country. Even though they have the parts that look like a city, it's like, really? That's the city? But I want country. I want to be safely or in a safe distance away from the masses of people. And it's not a fear-mongering thing, but man, people say, well, you want to be out there with the bears and the snakes. Bears do what bears do, snakes do what snakes do. We can coexist. You ever walk through the woods or forest and it's so quiet? Do you know how many things are looking at you that you can't see? Up in the trees, up under the ground, when you turn your back, or walking behind you, looking right at you, right? And then you walk past that same forest or woods, maybe not in it, and you hear all the life in there. Eat. All this noise is like, wait a second, what's all in there? You wouldn't dare walk in there then, right? So you can coexist. We're at the top of the food chain, and my thing, man is more dangerous than any other animal, because after so many days without food, he will kill with no problem. The resources. And it's not fear-mongering, it's just peace of mind. The negativity that's out there, the decadence, right?
That is exactly what I was going to say. Those words verbatim. Peace of mind is the main objective for wanting to live off the grid.
Yeah. I always want to have an internet connection. I'm not going to lie, because I'm going to always do what I do. But that's it. I reach out to the world. They can reach out to me. But physically, I'm gone. And eventually it will be out of the country. But for the time that I'm here, I want to be off the grid, where pretty much you're going to have to drive at least, realistically, 30 or 40 minutes away from a big city. I wouldn't say 2 hours, because there's really no place here like that unless you go like deeper into the country. But there are places here in Florida where I am where you can drive off and go deep, and especially into places where folks are not even thinking about going. Now you got to imagine, if there's a catastrophe, if there's some type of attack or shortage of food, what's going to happen in the bigger cities if they don't ship the food in, right? Something happens and the trucks just don't bring the food and there's no food. Is there enough land to support life? No. Is there enough land when you have these high rises, right? These artificial living environments? Is there enough land to say, well, the supermarket's not growing anything, but we have thousands and thousands of people on this 2 acres of land because of the high rise that we're in. We can grow stuff enough for us to eat. No, it's not happening. So you're depending on an artificial situation to live. Plumbing, all of the people packed up together. You think that they can just use the bathroom out and out? The place would smell like a dump. So the plumbing we can stay closer together, live closer up on each other. And also, too, here's another thing. I don't think it's mentally correct or mentally healthy for us to live all up on each other like that. We need space. We need space. You ever see country folk? When they see each other, they're glad to see each other. But they're also glad to go home, and they're a lot slower, a lot more tranquil, and they're more centered and at peace. And they don't want anything to do with the crazy city. Now look at that. Here I am, a bona fide, certified, dyed in the wool, born and raised New York City boy. I've done it all in New York, not the crime or drugs, a couple other little things. I've seen it all, been around it all. I'm a super New Yorker. And I'm telling you, I don't want no part of that life. I'm totally freaked out. I don't look. I want to go to New York City one more time. People say, well, you can go all the time. You're from there, you have friends. I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there. I want to go one more good time to say so long. And if I go after that, it's for business or whatever have you. But I'm through. I'm through with Orlando. I just have certain obligations I have to take care of for the next couple of years, get to my retirement. If there is a retirement, they may take that away if the economy collapses, right? So I got to be ready for that. Grow your food, get your land, build your structure, have it paid for. Build it yourself if you can. Get collective with other people we can barter off our skills. Get off the grid. Nighttime comes, you should be sleeping. The sun comes up, that's when you get up. You work with the sun. Rhythm, righteousness. Let me tell you something. Out in the country, how many times out in the country with country folk, way out, have you seen mental illness? You don't see any mental illness out there. You only see it.
Murder. So if there's somebody murdered out there, somebody doesn't come from somewhere, the city they're going through, and then, but yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Or somebody mess with somebody's woman, or somebody mess with somebody's money. Other than that, nobody's going to do that. Mm-mm. But where you have these artificial, unhealthy living conditions, you see the mental illness because the pressure of jumping through the hoops and the pressure, I just paid the mortgage or the rent, now I got to pay it again. And all you're doing is you look, taking a nice long walk down a country road, and you see a turtle and you want to pick him up and move him off the road before he gets run over, or you see a blue jay flying past, a butterfly lands on your shoulder. You know what I mean? Something fascinating.
I love animals and nature so much. But yeah, that's what the problem is, two extremes. You have people who are running that rat race, go to work every day, back home, pay the bills, sleep, eat crap, go to work, sleep, eat crap. And you have the idle ones who are sitting at home, and then they all into each other's business, where you have the gossipers and the the idle people, and then they're all butting heads because they're, you know what I'm saying? Because you have some people who are just like, I'm tired of working all the time, and then these people, I don't have enough because I don't do anything and don't have anything else to do but getting other people's business. And yeah, that's why there's so much craziness. We're too close. We need space. We need nature. We come from the earth. We need the earth. We need to be in it. Somebody was talking today, Tony from Metaphysics, and he was saying how some people, they just they go to work and they put their shoes on and they walk out of their house and they come back home and their feet never connect with the earth, with the ground. And that's like a grounding to get you away from all this electricity and all that.
Yes.
And it's just like, we need to connect with that sometimes. We just got to get out of the rat race. And I think that would heal a lot of people's minds to get away from it all. And I would love to.
Yes. No, you're so right, though. And that's something we have to do every day. Why is it that we have to go on vacation, take a flight, go to another country or another part of this country to enjoy the feel of sand or soil under our feet? Why don't we go in our backyard and do this every day? You know? And I know there are times when things are a little busier where you can't do it as much because we do live in these artificial living conditions. And we got to jump through the hoops because of that. But we have to make a conscious effort because mentally you can feel the stress melting off of you when you do these things. I go in my backyard every day, and my backyard's pretty big. Now we have fire ants, so I make sure, where I step because they'll chew my feet up. But to connect, and I always make sure when I wake up, I go outside and I look up in the sky. I look right at the sun. And so I have to squint my eyes. That wakes me up so good. That gives me a charge. And usually I like to lay out in the sun for a little while, you know, and it aligns me with the world. You know, it attunes me. It synchronizes me to the natural biorhythms of this planet. And so you move stronger. And you need time to yourself. You need your mind to yourself, away from electronics, away from the phone, away from the music. That music is good for us, but let your mind purge. Hear that voice, that divine voice. We're so much like fiends, like crackheads. Some people have the pipe, the crack pipe, and we have our phones.
Entertainment.
Yeah.
That's the problem. We need to be entertained. That's why I don't have cable. I don't have it. I don't want to even poison myself with that. I don't need it. Sometimes I can sit in silence, and I love to read. I don't need my mind saturated with a bunch of garbage all day long.
Exactly.
You know, people just sit in front of it. They sit all day. I saw a lady in line. She just kept her eyes on the phone. I wanted to just have her look up, beat my eyes, and smile and say hello. But it's just like, she's gone. She's not even really alive.
Right.
That's her life right there. That's
zombies. Straight up zombies. I don't know any other way to say it.
Right.
So when you have somebody who goes through some level of mental sickness, maybe that's the wrong term, I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. But what do? You take them, you bring them out to some country where they can get some sunshine, fresh air, live near some water, get some exercise, get some good food. To me, the only way that I can survive here, even though it's Orlando, Florida, and they advertise the tourist attractions, it's a big money-making thing. There are all kinds of spiritual strongholds over this place that make it very wicked. What do? I get near some water. I get near some fresh air, sunlight, exercise, and just that peace of mind. You have to walk with that. You have to seek it out, even in these places that have that artificial living condition situation going on. You have to find yourself some time away from people and all things that are not natural. You see, I rock the phones and the computers. Yes, I do. But I know when to put it down. And like for me, one day this weekend, I'm going to have just that. I'm going to go to the beach, not to lay out and look at people. I want to go to the quiet end of the beach because you have more beach here in Florida than anywhere else in the country. I want to find somewhere where nobody is and walk out there, you know, and just be, you know what I mean? Too much information. There's a couple of nude beaches that are hidden away. I'm going way out there, but nobody's going to be near me. I just want to feel myself in the sun and a little bit of the water. Got a lot of sharks out there. I'm not trying to get bit. But we got to coexist now. We got to have sense when we do things. But I just want to feel myself. Just me and nature. And then come back into it. And you feel so refreshed. But we'll wash ourselves physically. But we don't wash ourselves, our souls, of the accumulated scabs that we have to deal with toxic people. The attitudes, the attacks, the people angling, trying to put you down, trying to get something from you. How do I survive doing all of this stuff, putting so much out online? It's because I put a lot in. See, I can talk just as loud as I am. My wife knows what I do. She supports it wholeheartedly. She's on the other side of the house, fast asleep, but the door's open. And the door to the studio's open. She can hear every word I'm saying. She pays me no mind. Oh, he's doing his thing. But I'm in sync with what I do, my existence. Like I said, I'm about that life.
Yeah, it's like a calling for you. I hear it. This is just your natural habitat right here, doing this, and also nature. But I'm talking about as far as
right.
Your what do you call it? This is kind of like your gift to other people. This is your calling of your gift, because this is beautiful.
And it's a gift to me.
I can listen to you all day. I can listen to you all day because
you're sweet.
No, I'm serious.
Until your ears fall off.
No, you have a lot to say, but it's not just garbage. And I do this with, when I meet friends, we do this talk for hours late into the night because I like conversation. And if you find somebody who has something to say, it's always good to listen. It's always amazing to listen. I'm blown away that I met you. So.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm the same way. I mean, you're a gem. And I've met so many good people, and I'm adding another one to my wonderful collection. And like I said, this is what life is all about, making those connections. And again, we lost the ability to communicate, to speak to each other truly from the heart and make each other feel it. It shouldn't be about your genitalia, what you have between your legs. When that time comes, when you have somebody in your life, yes, that it is what it is. But everybody else, does it have to be about that? Why can't we just be human beings and talk about our aspirations and our fears and our goals, or even ask help? Say, hey, you know how to do this. Could you help me with this? Sure. It's nice to give. I'll help you with this. And then you help the other person back, or help another person. You keep it going. There's a situation where, there was a person who was in need. I'm not a rich man, but I was like, listen, you need this more than me. Here, you take this. Like, well, you don't even know me. I'm like, listen, I see that you need this. I overheard you do. Well, how can I meet you to pay it back? No, keep the ball rolling. When you see somebody in need and you have, and it doesn't just have to be money. It could be your time. It could be just giving somebody a hug. It can be just listening to somebody when they're crying or in need, or they're crying on the inside, even though they're smiling on the outside. Use your senses to see what your mission is for that day. We all have missions, and we look past it because of the foolishness that we indulge in. And we look to get so much that, yeah, it's nice to find a $50 bill on the curb. You know what I mean? But we look to get so much that we forget that we have to give. When you give, you open up the door to get.
Right.
Because now the universe stays in perfect balance. So the more you get, and I don't mean let somebody take advantage of you or just give away all your money or give away all your time. You've got to preserve yourself, number one, right? But when you give, it throws everything out of balance in a good way toward you, because now the universe owes you a check, symbolically. See? Now, when people say nobody owes you anything, no, but the more you give, the more you put yourself in a space to receive. And the other statement that I want to say that I heard a long time ago when I was a child, and I was about 7 or 8 years old when I heard this, and I caught it, but I didn't understand it enough. It was on the radio, and a gentleman said, "It's better to be wronged. It's better when somebody does you wrong." And I'm thinking, what kind of fool is this? You know what I mean? What do you mean? Excuse me, could you do me wrong? Help me out. And I never understood that. But then now, as an older person, I understand that now, that when you are wronged, right is coming your way. It may not come from the person or situation that wronged you, but right is coming to you, express. Because again, creation in the universe has been thrown out of balance because you were wronged. See? And it will come back to you in another form. So when people rant on about me or say things or do things, and you see it, now if somebody comes at me with a knife or a gun, I'm going to knock them out. You know what I mean? But those other things, I choose not to get in those battles. Let it flow. You're making me blessed. And usually when I go through those bouts with people or a person, elevation comes almost immediately. A blessing comes almost immediately. It's uncanny. Try it sometime. I'm not saying you can't make anybody do you wrong, but for those who are going to listen, when you're done wrong, something good is coming to you. I know that. So when somebody does me wrong, I chuckle. And to myself, I say, thank you. Now, if you do me wrong by trying to punch me in the face, I'm not going to wait for I might smack you back. I'm still a man. But in life in general, That's how it works. See? But you have
Well,
your
I need
mission.
to hear that. I needed to hear that. I am wronged daily.
Oh, trust me. Trust me. Trust me. You and me both. But this is why I keep laughing and keep swinging and keep doing. Because you have to show that also. You can't let the wrongdoer take you over, because now you're not receptive to receive the good that comes. Right? So that's how it works. I don't know how else to explain it. It's a divine thing, and it's a very powerful thing. And, you know, this system, this universe, created by our creator, whatever you want to call him, it's so intricate. It's so delicate. It's perfect. It really is. Anything in this system, we have man's system now, and we have the creator system. The creator system is perfect. Come on, look at that. Now imagine fruit growing off the tree. Imagine, like, okay, you know, we're going back in the day, or all of this complex, man's system didn't exist. Imagine man's system of, let me go to the store and get a mango. Or let me pay this man some rent to live here. Why do we have to pay somebody to live on a planet that was given to us?
Right.
Why do we have to pay somebody for fruit that grows off of trees for free, and the sun shines down on it, and the rain rains down on it, and it grows out on the soil that's abundant all over the world, and who put themselves up as a God beside God?
Right. Why are all these fences here that I can't go and I gotta pay, and or somebody's gotta know that I went into this park or this area? Why can't I just like somebody's trying to own the world, like own this land that God gave to everybody.
That's why I'm trying to get off the grid. I can't take it no more. You know what I mean? Now we can barter our skills. If a person's a farmer and I'm a doctor, well, help farm for me, and when you get sick, I'll help to get you well. You know, we work along with each other. But somebody shortchanged somebody, and now money had to come into play to make it even, right? And then greed came in, because now you want more power over somebody else. And now you want to exploit. Now you want to be God. You know?
Well, what happened is, this is how we're in this mess, is just all these these businesses, remember the mom and pop stores and all that, they get big, then they sold it. And whoever bought it, all the people who bought it are these rich people. So they owned everything. It's just like, once you build something again, now we don't feed ourselves. Now we have to depend on people to feed us, because we keep on selling. Once you start something where you're feeding yourself, where you're growing your own food, where you have your own, you don't go and somebody offers you the highest bid and you go and sell it for money. No, then you cannot. Then the power of your life is not in your hands anymore. The people who own everything, your life is in their hands. They decide if you eat or not, if you can have. They're trying to privatize maybe water now. So, but we sold them everything.
Yeah,
and that's the problem.
Yeah.
So I'm just hoping, like what you're doing, that we'll have a chance to start all over again, where we understand that keep your life in your own hands. Don't sell everything for money. It's not worth it.
And land is so important. Land is so important, and also to be able to detox off of the trinkets of this world, the shiny little things of this world, the lust just to have the most expensive car, the lust for the boob job, and the lust for, just these things. It's nice what we can do, but what about that peace of mind? Because that other stuff really doesn't bring that. You think back, and a friend of mine told me, not that I'm advocating being broke, right? Because there's lots of ways to be broke, because most people now these days who walk around with material items are broke in their spirit. You see what I mean? They still have the void. Those things didn't do nothing for them.
Nothing.
Right? So we have to detox off of this stuff. My friend told me, he said, and he's well-to-do. He's worked hard all his life, him and his wife, and they may not be multi-millionaires, but I know he cracked $1 million or $2 million in his life and is sitting in the bank, but he's modest, right? The thing is, he said, my sweetest days came when I didn't have anything. When him and his wife were just married and they were living in his mother's basement. He said those were the formative years, And of course, he paid rent to her. They were independent. They weren't dependent or anything like that, but they were struggling as far as wanting to do better on the long term. For others, they would have settled in and just said, okay, this is it. But no, they wanted more and they achieved more. But they said, you know what? For all that we've achieved, the sweetest times was laying there on a budget, dreaming about the future and knowing that we've committed to being together. Why can't we as human beings commit to helping and loving each other and being selfless, giving more than we take, right? Why can't we do that? If we made sure to give more than we take, than we receive, oh boy, what a sweet world this would be, And those who are mentally sound, you got some crazy folk out in the country too now. Some are just little, I'm not going to say straight cray-cray, but, you have some folks who, but not like in the bigger cities. We're walking around here. Go to the mall sometime, just any mall, and watch the people. Watch how they look at you to see if you're looking at them, because their ego wants a boost. Look who's just shopping to get what the next person has. They're eyeing you up and down to see if you have a better handbag than them. They're eyeing you up and down to see if you have better jewelry or a more extravagant hairstyle than them. What kind of emptiness do they have and possess? What kind of costume are they wearing? Lots of times you see people dressed up to the hilt, not like the good old-fashioned men we're talking about who took pride in themselves, but today it's about, oh, look at that watch. I bet that watch costs $1,500. Oh, those shoes. Oh, no, at least it costs $800 in that bag. And then after all of that, who does she think she is? Isn't that crazy?
Exactly. That's why I'm glad I'm not ambitious. I don't want none of that crap. I told my mom got like a and she lived in Los Angeles. Somebody got her a $400 purse. I said, if somebody got me a $400 purse, I'd choke them out and go and pawn that thing for them. But don't give me no $400 purse. Give me the money. I said, $20 purse is good enough for me. I don't want so.
Well, I mean, you are ambitious for something higher. You see what I mean? You are ambitious.
Right, but not on a...
Yeah, you may not be materialistic, right, on that level, but you are ambitious. You're ambitious for righteous things. You see the value in being right with yourself and your creator and living in balance with the world. That's very important. So these people who aspire to die with more material goods around them, those are the ones who are not ambitious, because that's like trying to fill a glass that has no bottom. You stand there all day. Well, how come the glass isn't filling up? Listen, buddy, it has no bottom in it. It's going straight through to the bottom. So I want those beautiful moments. I want that walk on the country road. I want to spend 8 hours in the garden one day. I want to be so much in line with nature that I can walk past a hornet's nest and they'll fly all around me and not sting me. I want to walk past an alligator and he just look at me and I step over him. I want to stand next to a tornado and it comes 2 feet in front of me and doesn't knock me down. I believe that if this whole world healed itself, everything would work in one accord and it would be a beautiful place. It would be heaven on earth. How do they say? On earth as it is in heaven. That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Everything, like they say, everything on the earth. Like the trees, what the oxygen that they give us, and the animal, the bees with the honey and the pollinating, everything in earth feeds itself. That it's all to take care of each other, except for man. Man is the only one that just has a greed. Like a lion doesn't go out and I'm a kill 15 deers. I'm gonna stack them up in the back of my den and eat it. You know what I mean? They just take what they need.
Take what you need. That's all. Take what you need.
We are so greedy that
you're right.
That's what creates all the suffering.
Take what you need.
But let me ask you this question, because
yes.
You're intriguing me more and more. Where does this spiritual, this righteousness come from? Were you raised going to a church, or is it just wisdom from your years in life? Where does this come from?
I would give more credit to the household that I came up in. Now, I had my years of decadence in teen and early years, as far as, the whole girlfriends thing and everything like that. But, just the root, just my spiritual mental DNA, my parents and what they exposed me to and what they made me aware of. Once you're aware of certain things, you can't make yourself not aware of it anymore. Certain levels, certain things were put into me that activated as I got older and had to deal with certain situations. See, so while I chose to act foolish for, some of the early years, I knew better in the back of my mind when I was seeing certain things, and I knew how to deal with certain situations. And I'm just so thankful that's given me an advantage, in life. And it wasn't just to be trained to get a job, to have money. No, but just life experience from young, and also the ability to learn from other people's experiences. That's very important because, I learned back in the days when I was doing bodybuilding that bottom line is, if you have a straight period where you have no injuries and have no setbacks, you'll go so far, as opposed to a person who beats you this year and the next year they have 3 injuries and they have to sit out for the next 2 years. Steady, 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 a steady upward climb, like a very conservative stock, as opposed to one that spikes and some make a lot of money and it turns around and crashes. You see what I mean? So that spiritual undergirdment, what am I saying here? Being undergirded spiritually like that ahead of time. It's like putting a bunch of college material around a little baby. It's just paper to him. But as he gets older, it's like, wait a second, this is making sense. I have more knowledge now. I can absorb this. So that framework, yes, and I did go to church, many different churches, but I wouldn't say that that's what it was. Because I spotted a lot of foolish things in churches. And my parents pointed those things out to me. So I was aware. So I have a respect for the church when properly utilized and executed, but more so than being religious, it's more so to be on point on a spiritual level and know where your spiritual radar is and the blip that's on that radar in life. Know when you're going off a little bit. Knowing where I'm a little off today. I shouldn't be thinking this. I shouldn't be doing this. That awareness as you go through life. Like a dashboard on a vehicle that tells you, the gas is low. It's overheating. We need to, the charge on the battery is getting low. We have that. We just can't see it, but we can feel it and sense it. You know when you leave out of your door every day, if you're a little angry or you feel a little depressed or down, we have to take care of ourselves because these things are revealed to us. And it's very important that we stay in tune. But when we take ourselves out of ourselves, just blasting ourselves on YouTube with foolish things, stupid battles and personality conflicts and back and forth, stuff that's going nowhere. You're filling a cup that has no bottom. These so-called reality TV shows, the foolishness that's put out, the frivolous things that we do. There's so much to do and absorb out here. Yet we settle for the cheap filler. It's like refusing to go when someone offers you, hey, it's my treat. We're going to go to a 5-star restaurant. And it's a vegetarian restaurant. All the food is clean, dairy-free, soy-free, gluten-free, wheat-free, sugar-free, GMO-free. And you say, no, I don't want to do that. I'm going to stay home and get my fingers orange, eating that bag of cheese doodles, watching the soap operas.
Oh, wow. Are you a vegan?
I'm a pescatarian, but I've changed over into being a vegan. And I swore 2 weeks ago that, yes, it's it with me with fish. But I said, you know what? Let me gradually come down. I'm eating less fish now than I ever have. And you can basically say that 95% of what I'm eating now is all electric food, the vegetables and the fruits.
oh, you're going to be my inspiration. Oh, I mean, you're way. I just now, a little while ago, well, maybe about a year, cut out pork. But I still eat chicken and beef. And
But you made the step.
Fish.
You made the step. You made the step. You made the step.
What is you use the P word like a, what'd you say?
Yeah, pescatarian.
What does that mean?
Pesca means fish. Pescatarian is basically a vegan who eats a little fish. That's all it is. A vegan who eats a little fish. I have another way of saying it. It's a vegan who cheats with fish. I have an extra culinary affair with fish.
Oh my! Dang, man, you got this this amazing show. This is amazing. Now I come to find out you're Episcopalian. Is that how I pronounce it?
Episcopalian? I like that. No. Pescatarian. It's
Pescatarian.
Like yeah. Oh, I like that. I'm gonna tease you about that.
Yeah, I know. I knew I was saying it wrong.
I'm just messing with you.
But that, and now, how did you become a pescatarian?
Well, I always knew that life, fruits and vegetables, that's it. That's life. Mm-hmm. Pork and chicken and lamb, that brings no life. It's dead meat. Anything that didn't absorb the sun, it's dead. When it dies, people say, well, it's protein. You got to get protein. Your body doesn't use protein. Your body uses amino acids. Gorillas don't eat meat. Cows don't eat meat, but we eat them as meat. Well, not the gorilla, at least not me.
Me neither.
Right? But we're eating the sun. You want to eat as much of the sun as you possibly can. Well, how do we eat the sun? We eat the things that absorb the sun, fruits and vegetables, and all those different colors, different vitamins and minerals and different things that man has yet to discover inside that food. So we, like we said about the earth being free and the fruit being free, the Creator made everything so perfect for us. Mm-hmm. Now we can split hairs about meat and everything like that, but ultimately, why would you want to put something dead inside of you? First of all, our digestive system is not even made for that. It's so long. It's so many feet long. Those animals who are made to eat meat, they have the teeth for it and the short digestive tract for it and the enzymes, right? We don't have that. This is why we have so many men walking around like they're in their third trimester of pregnancy. Their stomachs are pushed out to here. Talk about these guys, look at these women in tight jeans and talk about baby got back. Well, brother, you got gut.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's not even just hanging fat. It's stuff impacted that doesn't come out. Meat. Overcooked food. You can't overcook your food. You got to get it fresh. To me, the ultimate way to eat the fruit, they say freshly picked. I go a step further. I don't do this. I did it a couple times. Go up to that tree and eat the fruit while it's hanging off the tree. It's still connected to the ground. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You didn't cut it from its source of nutrition. Lay out in the sun. You absorb the sun. They say, oh, you didn't get enough sunlight. There's a vitamin D deficiency. Well, what else are we absorbing from the sun that man doesn't know about? The chemicals and drugs we put in our bodies to emulate the herbs and spices that we're supposed to take in. There are things we can take to put us to sleep and relax us. We don't have to go to Walgreens or CVS or Dwayne Reed or whatever it may be near you as a drugstore, Walmart. We need to know these things. But for us to not know it, somebody else capitalizes off of our ignorance and makes a huge profit from it. Isn't that something?
Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
About this. Well, I'm going grocery shopping tomorrow, and you've been. I still eat like crap, but you have been You're going to be my.
It takes time. It takes time. Let me just tell you that you have to beat yourself mentally with knowledge, and it's not gonna all saturate right away where you wake up hearing the Rocky music and you're going to do everything perfect. It doesn't work that way. Look, I'm not calling you dry soil, but we'll just use this as an example. You take soil that hasn't had any rainwater on it and it's so dry. Do you think that you can dump 1,000 gallons on that soil and all of a sudden it's okay? No. It takes time for the water to permeate it. Every day, a little bit of water. Every day, saturate it. Make the associations that you need to turn you off to what you're eating. Oh, I can turn you off to meat. I can tell you some things.
Oh, it's starting to anyway. I don't know how the what quality has gotten so low that it's unbelievable. And the chicken wings that are like 3 times the size with all the veins, and I mean it's repulsive to even look at.
Yeah,
it really is. And the meat, the ground beef, I was buying it. I won't even say from the place, and it was in a log. And I tell you, it smelled just like fecal matter when I cooked it.
And it's not too far from that. You know what I mean? I mean, it is what it is, and it brings no life. And your body actually has to fight that stuff off. You're putting it down, and it has to fight it off. Also, the chemicals that are put inside of it, you're taking it in. And there's also that other element of imagine, animals get cancer too. Imagine cooking cancer and eating it. You know, it starts to putrefy. They shoot things in it to keep it looking like it's fresh meat. It could be older than what they say. It's just a matter of a label. They can change labels. That's already proven that they do that. And then we cook it again. It's already dead. When you see roadkill, think about that. When you see a cat or a raccoon or a squirrel laying there rotten, would you pick it up and take it home and cook it? That's what you're doing. And now you have this stuff inside of you. It's not even absorbing right. When you clean out, and I've never laid eyes on you, so I'm not throwing off on you because I don't know what you look like. You know what I mean? When you clean out, you get better. Your body is self-healing. You set the stage and the conditions, no matter what condition it is in, it will heal up automatically, immediately. It may take some time to see it, but it'll heal up.
Well, let me ask you this about your growing the food. Because a lot of people are starting to do that. I have a number down for getting some harvest seeds myself. But what do you know, and if you believe in them, how do you protect? Because I know now the fruits that you get from the store, when I go, there's no seeds in the grapes, there's no seeds in the oranges.
Yeah.
So how do you protect your food from like so-called chemtrails that they're put into the soil and everything? I mean, do you believe?
That's something that I'm just recently been aware of more so and thought about. So I'm still on the journey, but we're going to have to build some structures back there as far as like a greenhouse type situation, not with glass. We're still open to a point, but where the atmosphere inside is controlled, because that's very important. And that's a very good question. And that's what we're going to do. So this is in the plan of growing our own stuff. Actually, right now, I'm looking to get some more land and some acreage very soon. I don't mind the world knowing that because it's not going to stop me, you know. And I've been taking the weekends and driving around, me and my wife, and looking around here and there. And I still intend to leave the country one day soon. But because I don't want to be around this system, whether it's going to thrive and do better and people make more money and everybody drives Lamborghinis, that's not what I want. I want simplicity. I want to be able to deal with my spirit, my soul directly without these distractions. I don't want to have to fight off people who are going in the other direction. I'm not better than anybody else. There are lots of other people, but like they say, come out of her, my people, you know? And we can be out of it and in it. But when you get so aware, you don't even want to be physically in it. I can't even look people in the eye when I know they're coming at me with hell. I just let them go on by and say, okay, all right, you know, what do you want? Okay. On the bus, I'll say, you're 15 cents short, no problem, go sit down. Because they're 15 cents short, and they want to argue with me. I didn't even say no. People see your peace of mind and your tranquility, and it irks them. That's what it is. because it makes them see how far off the mark they are. So here they come with their drama. No, it's okay. Curse me out in your side of the world. Sit up in a camera and stare at it and curse me out. Give me your energy that way. Think about me. You know what I mean? Because I'm not thinking about you if you're negative. I'm thinking about what? Peace of mind.
Right.
Peace of mind.
Right. We're living in that's like you said when you were saying, I just realized, we're living in a land right now where misery loves company. I'm miserable, so I want you to be miserable.
Right. But see, if you're self-effacing, if you're not caught up in playing that game of materialism and I want my name up in lights and I'm going to be famous one day, I'm going to make it, and that's so frivolous. You mean to tell me we only have but so many decades in this world? The first two, you just learning stuff. Age of 18, let's just say 20. By the time you're 25, 30, then you really get to be emotionally there. By the time you're 40, for the most part, 40, 45, you think you got it. You look around, it's time to retire. And it's like, then what? And you know what? Some of us are 50 and still acting like we're 18. Some of us haven't learned the lessons. Most of us haven't learned the lessons. I want to learn the lessons. There's some lessons I didn't learn. I want to learn the lessons.
Yep.
I want to be intact and complete within myself, where I don't need these other things. And see, black people are so foolish. They want to, because of the lack of self-esteem that many of us have in our own special way, we want to wear our esteem on our sleeves.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't think much of myself, but guess what? I just bought a new Benz. And I'm going to drive around, and I find it funny, when we acquire something on a material level, we're happy to achieve that. It used to mean something. It used to mean, let's pick on a luxury car. It used to mean that, well, who is that has that car? Is it a doctor? Is it a lawyer? Because it must be somebody accomplished. Now it could be any old drug dealer. You can go to any old buy here, pay here joint and pay out all this money just to drive in something, So that's been rendered useless, minimized, reduced. So we
it's been reduced to I want people to see me. You can't even enjoy it because you're too busy trying to floss or something. Just enjoy it. If you work for it or however you got it, just enjoy it. It's not going to do anything for you if people see you. And what I hate also is how people idolize these stars and things like that. I like people who could have talent and everything too, but it's just that we always talk about their possessions, but we never say, look at so-and-so, I want to be like them because of how happy they are. Well, I've never heard anybody talk about how happy any of these stars or idols are ever in my life. And it's just like, why are you aspiring to be them when I've never even thought myself personally that any of them were happy when I see them on the award shows or on television, which I don't want. But it's just like, I want to be happy. I don't need all that money and stuff. I just want to be in this life and be happy. I know that may sound silly, but that's just the way that I want to live.
Right. It doesn't sound foolish at all. No, it doesn't. You're right on point with that. And so me knowing that, one end of the spectrum, way to the other one, I don't care if I go way out in the country somewhere where I got to use a bathroom in the outhouse.
Exactly.
That would be luxury to me. To go out there and, first of all, let me just drop a tidbit on those who are listening or who will listen. Sitting on the toilet is the worst way to go to the bathroom. It's not healthy, Many people don't know that.
Really?
Yes, it's not healthy at all. What a person should do is purchase this item or make one themselves that puts, it's like, how could I put it? Imagine you can stand up on the toilet bowl, right? And squat. Squatting is the healthiest way to use the restroom because you get, not to be lewd, this is fact, because everything comes out. When you sit down, your stomach is not pressed up against the thighs the same way, and it doesn't open everything up and make it where it can eject everything. Everything doesn't come out when you sit down. And that's very healthy to know. I'm not being indecent, but this is just what it is.
No.
We need to talk about these things. So there's a stand, like a footstool that goes on both sides and around the toilet. And you can stand up on it, and it puts your feet on the level of the actual bowl, and you squat.
Yeah, I hear of the commercial on the radio shows. I think it's called a squatty potty, and I just
Yeah.
like,
They have different names for it.
yeah. So, but same here. Like what I think of with that outhouse too is if you actually built it yourself, like you're out there
Right.
and you learn how to even know chop down trees or whatever, like cinder blocks or whatever, but you build your own outhouse or maybe even just your own shed, but just to be able to build something is what I really want to learn how to do.
Yeah, I mean, what's the problem with building? We feel we have to spend all this money paying somebody else. And it doesn't have to be something where you're walking by snakes in the dark. You know what I mean? It could be something where you kind of walk out and you can build some kind of barrier or whatever have you. But to me, that's mentally more healthy, to be out there in nature.
Mm-hmm.
That makes more sense than anything else. I mean, that's just the way I am. I want my feet to hit the ground more than ever. I want to feel the breeze. I want to sleep with the breeze. I want to sleep with outside air hitting my nostrils safely.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Maybe I'll build a 2-story something and go up there on the 2nd story, and I'll keep it netted in. I'm not going to say I want to be so much into nature that I let mosquitoes just have their way, like an all-you-can-eat buffet. Let's go get some, But imagine how good a sleep would be with the outside air. Oh, man. And you wake up. You hear nature. You hear the bugs out there. You hear the animals out there. But you're safe. You smell the rainwater when it comes down. That healthy scent. You make me want to get up and just abandon civilization right now.
Yeah, same here. You paint a picture. It's just like I'm there, especially the night with hearing the crickets and the breeze and the dark. Oh,
in the dark. Imagine how deep you'll sleep.
Mm-hmm.
No fire trucks going by you. No alarms going off. The people next door partying.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a hood situation, gunshots going off.
Right.
Oh, man.
Let me ask you this. What do you and your wife grow?
What don't we grow? We're in Florida. And that's that. No, I'm not trying to be funny.
Oh, no, I get it.
I mean, really, what don't we grow? We have just about damn near everything. And she's the one who orchestrates that more than anything else. So I'm not even on the front like, yes, I'm the one who's leading this. She's born and raised in Jamaica, St. Catherine, up in the country. So she had that life. She had that life. I don't think she tasted a McDonald's burger until she was in her middle 20s and didn't like it. You know what I mean? Probably almost threw up tasting it. Let me see what this is like. Oh, God, this is nasty. She ate from the ground, grew stuff from the ground, cooked everything from scratch, nothing from a box. This is why now, at 52 years old, and she has no problem me saying her age, I'm 53, she's 52, she looks the way she does, very lean, skin smooth. The skin already looks like foundation. She doesn't need foundation. See? Waistline really tiny and can work tirelessly, physically, and loves it. See?
Wow.
That's her foundation. That's her root. And she's very strong. She's a very lean person who looks skinny, but she's all muscle in a feminine way, like those track stars, So she's phenomenal. And I don't put anybody else down, but it's just that's her root and it glows off of her. She has a glow. Even when she's tired, she's glowing. So me being the city boy that I am, having been poisoned with a bit more of this fast food than she has, it's inspiration for me to detox off of man's world. I mean, it could be entertaining, and we go out, we go to a nice hotel and stay there, but it's like, this is not all it's cracked up to be. What many people go, we went here and we ate there. What did you eat? Oh, we had this rich food, and that's why you feel sick now. That's why you burping and feeling nauseous with what you burp up. Why are you burping? Bringing up food. You're not digesting it right. You're throwing down too many different food categories, and your body can't decide what enzymes to throw down to digest it. When you're out in the woods, you're picking berries or grapes, and you eating that one thing because you're standing there. Oh man, a mango tree. You don't have a mango tree and all of a sudden bust out with macaroni and cheese and beef and stuffing and all of this stuff. You know what I mean? It's mangoes. Because that's what we found. We got this mango tree. Let's eat all the mangoes we can. Oh, let's dig up some potatoes. We'll make a meal. And you know what? Before we had refrigerators, before we had all of these utensils, we had to get up and prepare our meal fresh. We couldn't swing by McDonald's in the drive-thru. We couldn't go to IHOP real quick, 3 o'clock in the morning. 3 o'clock in the morning might have meant death, running into a bear, going near their cubs. I'm hungry, but I'm going to keep myself where I am. See? So you get up and you prepare your meal, and that's what it's all about. On free land, with free food that you have to extract and prepare. And you repeat the process all over again. What a healthy way to live. And you had time with your loved ones. We don't have time with our loved ones anymore. We might run into them 3 o'clock in the morning, waiting for them to come out the bathroom. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, all right. One's rubbing their eyes, half asleep. Oh, go back to bed. I'll see you Saturday. What you mean? It's Tuesday morning in the wee hours. You're talking about somebody who lives with you, who's a family member, that you're going to see them on Saturday because your schedules are so different. No wonder we're mentally sick. I don't want no part of a world like that. I want the real thing.
Me too.
I want,
amazing.
that we can do things together. We can put our hands in the dirt together, all the while laughing. Look, God is so efficient that even when we go off to the side and dig a ditch and squat over it to use the restroom, that's fertilizer. Bring it back. Don't be ashamed. Put it around the bottom of these plants. They need the nitrogen. Nothing's wasted. Good, healthy food and laughter. You getting exercise. You stretching like a mother. You just stretching, bending, lifting. And when you sleep at night, the deepest sleep. What's better than that? There's no McDonald's. There's no McDonald's around to put on weight. There's none of these big bags of chips and all this heavy fried up stuff that they sell. There's no candy. Your fruit is your candy. You might dehydrate it or dry it out a little bit, but you got all kind of blueberries, raspberries, mangoes, apples. Come on now. Grapes, bananas. You got more variety of fruit out in nature. But people say, well, if I become a vegan, what am I going to eat? Well, there's nothing around you that's in the inner city except fried chicken, burgers, Chinese food, pizza, and junk out of the junk aisle. That's not even food. Your body's saying, hey, you put down all these calories in me, but you haven't given me a good meal in 3 months. I'm starving, but you're full. You're full of chemicals and all these calories, but I'm starving. So this is why you have these kids that are huge and they ain't got 1 ounce of strength in their body. They run from here to there. Oh, I can't do it. You can remember as a kid getting up and running outside and having boundless energy.
Yeah.
You want to, look, you could have walked, but you want to run. Run back and run again. Run circles around your folks.
Yes, indeed.
Let a couple years go by of eating this clogged up food, and we're just barely dragging. Look at that. We talked earlier. I was halfway through my shift, and your positivity had me so hyped. I'm talking like I just woke up.
I know you're blowing me away with this. This is my dream of what you're talking about.
Well, dreams come true. Everything that's in nature, everything that's made and created is a product of a thought. So if we think it hard enough, it can happen. The thing is, our minds have been hijacked and thoughts are put into it. What they call it? TV programs. We're like computers being programmed. I deprogram myself and I put what I need to put in to get what I need done. Because your mind is very powerful. I know that as an artist. I'll take a blank piece of paper, see something on it. All I'm doing is tracing what I already see in my mind.
I can't wait to see your artwork tomorrow. I'm going to my friend's house. I want to look at. I love artists. So you're that talented a person of an artist?
Well, I mean, that's for a person to say. You know, I don't know if I'm good or not. You'll see. I'll let the work speak for itself.
Okay, what do you draw most? What do you draw mostly? People.
Nature? Nature. I love nature, but nature doesn't affect people mentally. You know what I mean? I like to rattle your brains. A bowl of fruit never created a revolution. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I was hoping you were going to say people.
Yeah. I mean, I like to do things on political issues, on social issues, hard-hitting visuals that rattle your brain like, dag, that's deep. Or some funny stuff, you know. And I got a couple of good pieces. Pen and ink and lead, very detailed. I don't like color. When I'm drawing like that, black and white, a lot of detail, drawing. But you'll see it on the app if you download. Well, yeah, you said you have a flip phone, right?
Well, no, I have tomorrow when I go to my friend's house, I have access to where I can see all of your work and get on your website and everything.
Okay, yeah, LanceScurv.com and you know, check it out. Knock yourself out. You got years and years and years of writing, hundreds of videos, street videos, artwork. I've been doing this for a hot minute, and I'm proud of it, in a humble way. Not proud like, yes, I'm the man, because no. I'm just proud to validate my tracks through life. You know, YouTube is the newest thing for me. I've been on it since probably the last 8 years, but really hard the last 5. You know. 8 years. So it's like there's a lot of talk and a lot of stuff. Put it this way: if I gave you 3 years to go through everything, it wouldn't be enough time. If I said you didn't have to work, do anything, just sit there, read, watch the videos, listen to the shows, because a lot of the shows are 3 and 4 hours long. So that's going to take up time right there. You got to sleep. So it's a body of work. You know, my thing is legacy and a body of work. It's not about attention. It's a body of, because this building block adds on to the next building block. And when I talk about things as far as the talk show level, I talk about things that I say that's necessary and that people want to speak about. You can take one subject and take 10 angles at it. You know, you can take abuse and speak about spousal abuse, child abuse. You can take child support. What about the father who's paying it, who's broke now? What about the mother who might be taking it to get her hair done and go on cruises? What about the girlfriend or fiance of that father who's paying for it, and really she's helping him to pay for it because she loves him? What happens if he dumps her after she helped to pay? You know, what about that child that's not getting the money, or the child that is getting the money but wants the father in her life? See, his or her life. So you can take a topic and you can find so many different angles from it. See? What about the boyfriend or fiance of that mother receiving the money who's a deadbeat himself, but he's using her with the man's child support that she's getting? There's so much angles, and I'm a detailed oriented person. I like to look at angles and the little details that make a picture or a story come to life.
I like the way you use that word legacy, though, because I was just been thinking the last couple of days about all of this vitriol that's all over YouTube, and it's just like all these people are using all these horrible names, all this cursing and stuff. When they show their grandchildren, they go and look at their YouTube. That's going to be your legacy. Yes. And at least you have a body of work that stands for something. You're passionate. But I was just thinking about that as far as others go, and all the anger and evil and the fighting and back and forth and stuff. That's that's the legacy that you're going to leave behind. The memorial of yourself with all that cursing and evil, and it's just you got to think about that. I think a lot of them don't think about that. That's your representative of you for the rest of your life, of all that cursing that you do.
And it's terrible when it's a decadent stuff, if that's all it's going to be, because that's so easy to do. It's easy to cuss and damn and do the whole world star hip hop thing. I mean, what light is it bringing into, I mean, we can have fun, yes, and we speak about our experiences, but is that all it is? If that's all it is, it's so easy to go flip to the next one, because now you're nondescript. Now you don't count, because it's like, okay, what's next? Bring me something new. Show me some variety. Show me some deep thought.
Right. Yeah. Warside hip hop is the equivalent of that bag of chips with the orange on your fingers. You just empty calorie. You're just putting something in. You just entertain yourself. You're just putting something in. It has no value to you at all.
Exactly. You're pre-embalming yourself with that food that way, and you're pre-embalming yourself by sucking in that stuff that does nothing to challenge your mind and bring it to a higher level. Even in my little baby mind, I was a deep thinker. I'm not saying I'm the deepest thinker. I'm just saying that when I was younger, I was always way beyond my peers that way. I may not have known as much of the technical, which I know a little bit about everything, a little bit about. I can hold a conversation about anything, but instead of specializing in any one thing, I'm multi-purpose. I can hang in any situation. I'm like a sports car who has the seating arrangement of a van and the toughness of an SUV. And I have wings to fly too. So I'm a super multi-purpose mental, physical, and spiritual vehicle, and I like to flex in different gears. And this is what I like to do, to show, like a Floyd Mayweather who can fight many different styles of fighters. I can adapt and deal with so many different styles. I can hang in the street, talk to the brothers there, and translate to them what I feel. I can stand up in front of a church and talk to the people there and make them feel my words. I can go in a corporate boardroom and stand up with those folks and speak to them in a way that they understand, right? So it's reaching people, but if you're a one-trick pony, you know what I mean? You can only reach but so many people. What a waste of time that is. Delivery and distribution. Like I said when we first talked earlier, you said, "What were you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm tagging with certain keywords. I'm doing the graphics or the thumbnails, the detail of it. I'm a student of the game. I'm a student of this craft. You commit yourself to it. This is not some old light, frivolous thing that will be forgotten. Maybe I'll be forgotten. Who knows? But it's going to reach somebody. My thing is that what turns me on is that after I transition, people will get to know me and my walk, and maybe they can get something from it. See? Not that I'm trying to be famous, right? But they can get something from it. When you read a good book that was written 300 years ago, and you understand the time that it was written, in the lingo, the language of that time, that helps you to translate what they meant. You say, wow, they were going through the same things we're going through now, right? And you connect with that person. Look at a Maya Angelou, who, because of the written word and the spoken word and the recorded videotape, we can know her. She has fans that aren't even born yet. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
That her lifespan didn't overlap theirs. They have yet to be born 200 years from now, but they're going to be Maya Angelou fans.
Exactly.
I'll have great, 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 great grandchildren that will not just see me in a faded yellow photo, never to know what my voice sounds like, but they'll feel like they know me because of the recorded stuff and how I put my daily life down, feelings on things, which really is history.
Right, authentic history.
Authentic history. Because I'm telling it like it is and what I see. And that's a beautiful thing. You got me hyped. but
you got me enraptured. I'm like, look what I found, the gym. So.
But I am a turning right now. And I'll probably push that show back another hour. And it's been an honor and a pleasure. And thanks for hanging with me. I mean, we recorded this, and this is a show per se, but it's a real conversation because once I click that button, I'm not putting on to sound good. I'm just being myself. Look, there's no way I could have scripted this. Like, I'm going to speak to Nita in the middle of the night. She's going to call me on my break, but I'm going to have this long script of a conversation, to have for her. No, I don't have no script. Straight from the hip.
Girl.
Straight from the hip. Say it again.
With this goofy lady?
No. If you're goofy, a lot of young ladies out here need to be goofy. If that's what goofy is, we need more goofy people in the world. I need to perfect my goofiness because, like I said, you're pure. And of course, again, I say nobody's perfect, but I'm just saying you're pure. You have a lightness to your spirit. Your spirit is very light. It's not toxic, and that's refreshing. Just imagine when we all get off the grid, how light our spirits can be. Right. But yeah, I'm gonna turn in, and definitely on Friday and definitely tomorrow. It will be a shorter version tomorrow. I want to upload this if I can and get the process going. And tomorrow night, same way. Maybe I can get a group call going on. We can have a bigger discussion about different things. And I love doing this at night. I love the recordings. I love the live shows. I love, the live shows is like fighting in front of a live crowd. The recordings is like sparring in the gym. It's a little more closed in. I always compare things to boxing because I'm a boxing fanatic. That's one of my only vices. Oh,
I used to love boxing too, but now I'm into the UFC and the MMA.
Oh, okay, maybe you can teach me a little bit about that because I haven't kept up. I know about some of them whatnot because I follow and it's a little overlap. But when Andre Ward fights Sergey Kovalev, that's a big boxing match coming up in November. I'm gonna have a show directly after, a live show, and have some live call-ins, so all these boxing fans can argue live. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we'll keep it going for a couple of hours because I did one when Adrian Broner lost to Marcos Maidana. I think it was like a year or two ago. And I just had a show that I threw up. I said, okay, let me open the lines and put it out there on social media that we're going to go live. Wouldn't you believe I had some fans that were at the fight calling, talking on the show, who were in the parking lot leaving the fight? I was so blown away. I was like, wow, this is great. Only in social media.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, Nita, but let me run. I'm gonna wrap it down for real. My voice is about to pop and go, so I'm gonna save a little bit for the morning before I leave out to the plantation. And we'll do this again tomorrow night if you want.
Okay, will you allow me to call you again tomorrow?
My phone rings 24/7. Allow you? This is what I do.
Okay.
I'm like the Wizard of Oz. People may think there's this big Lance Scurv out there. Nah, I'm just a little guy in an extra bedroom in my house, working magic, pulling some levers and working some programs, and that's what I do. So that's not a problem. That's not a problem at all. Matter of fact, it will be a party. If it's not just me and you, we get some other people to call in. And the interview you're telling me about, I would love to do that. So that's not a problem. This is how we keep things flowing because the spontaneity is very attractive. It's not like, okay, I want us to talk about this. Or We don't know what the heck we're going to talk about, but you know what? We're going to talk about it, and it's going to be good.
Okay. Well, yeah, then tomorrow night, then I'll be calling you.
Please do. Don't forget, I'll be calling you like a late night person who breathes on the phone. No, I wouldn't do that to you.
Oh, yeah, my phone is always to call me anytime, but I'll be there, man. I enjoy you so much.
Thank you so much, sister. And you have a good night's slumber, and we're going to continue this tomorrow. Definitely.
All right, you sleep well, too.
Thank you so much. Okay.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Make sure to check out the boldest blog at LanceScurv.com and follow Scurv on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube under LanceScurv.